In a far-reaching press conference today, his first in more than 3 months, President Obama took questions and gave answers on a number of topics critically important to American business. He tackled everything from health care reform and the possibility of a government shutdown to immigration, privacy, and whom he might choose as the next chairman of the Federal Reserve. Eamon Javers was in the room and has our report. Eamon?
Good evening, Tyler. Well, the president addressed a series of issues, as you say, in his press conference today. He started off by saying that he doesn't think that the leaker from the NSA, Edward Snowden, is a patriot. Nonetheless, the president announced a series of reforms that he'd like to implement in U.S. intelligence gathering. Here's how the president described what he'd like to do.
We can and must be more transparent. So I've directed the intelligence community to make public as much information about these programs as possible. We've already declassified unprecedented information about the NSA, but we can go further.
And asked about who he's going to pick for the next chairman of the Federal Reserve, the president said he didn't want to tip his hand who he's going to pick, but he did say that he's got two very good candidates. And he also sort of explained why it is that the White House seems to have been defending Larry Summers in public in recent days. Take a listen.
The perception that Mr. Summers might have an inside track simply had to do with a bunch of attacks that I was hearing on Mr. Summers preemptively, which is sort of a standard Washington exercise, that I don't like.
So, Tyler, obviously this is very personal for the president. He's got a relationship with Larry Summers. He didn't like to see the piling on, so that might explain some of the leaks that we saw over the past couple of weeks, explaining that Larry Summers might be the front runner for the job. The president insisting, however, today that he has not picked a candidate just yet.
He talked a little bit today about the implementation of Obamacare, the health care reform, and the possibility that a government shutdown might be used as a weapon in that funding battle. Give us some thoughts on that, Eamon.
Well, obviously, he said that if you implement something as big as Obamacare, as he calls it now, it's going to have some glitches. And he was trying to prepare people to expect that there are going to be some glitches here. Nonetheless, he said that he doesn't like the politics here on the Republican side of threatening a government shutdown over the issue of Obamacare. He tried to position this as Republicans threatening to shut down the government in order to block 30 million Americans from getting access to health care. That, he said, is simply a bad idea.
Eamon Javers, thank you very much.
You bet.